Boom, what's up? More Wrestling Live, man. What a day. Our fourth show today, and it's been just filled with unbelievable people in our wrestling world, but another incredible mind in our country. Wrestled at UTC under Terry Brands, was a Tennessee State wrestling champ, took over higher calling over in Cleveland to feed Cleveland High School, founder of Bosken trained wrestling camps, has been involved in coaching over 12 state titles. So he knows a little something about this sport, and he's with us today, Coach Josh Bosken. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm honored to follow some of the great people you've interviewed here recently, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I think I'm ending it with the best, right?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy to have you on. Obviously, with this whole pandemic and everything this summer, um, how how were you affected by it? How were your camps affected by it? And are you starting to be able to see Tennessee getting back open and doing some things, a little bit of normalcy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we were affected just like everybody else was. The majority of practices, especially around this area, were done through schools. And as soon as COVID happened, that the first thing that happened was the schools were shut down, and no contact sports or contact sports were obviously eliminated from being in the facilities. So, and that's where all my camps were. So, all my camps every summer are done through the Jones Wrestling Center, which is in Cleveland, Tennessee, and immediately, camps were shut down. So we didn't really know what to do at first. We just threw, just like everybody else. We gathered some mats, threw them in my garage, and we just kept practicing. The kids wanted to be on the mat. We wanted them to be on the mat. So we just kept going. And then fortunately, one of our kids, their family owns a 100-acre farm right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. And they have not a huge facility, but they had a facility on the property that holds about 1.5 mats. There's
Cool.
upstairs, there's an upstairs, there's a downstairs. Upstairs, we basically just turned it into like a little compound. We just got our final mats put in, wall mats put in, floor mats wall to wall. We have seating area. Then upstairs, air conditioned room upstairs with 3 bedrooms, and then we just installed 28 or 20 bunk beds up top. So all of our camps that are done in Cleveland are overnight camps. So the kids will stay there. We feed them, and all that. So, but it's worked out well. We're fortunate that we have a place to train, and that's not the case with everybody. So we're happy about it.
How cool was that to have a family kind of?
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's one thing that I'm telling you right now. The Cleveland community. So I moved to Cleveland 12 years ago. Heath Eslinger, former head coach at UTC, got the head coaching job along with Mike Hatcher and Eric Phillips, who are both from Florida. They moved up here, and they were basically the 3 tiers. Heath was the head coach. Eric Phillips was our middle school coach, and then Mike Hatcher, who's the assistant at Chattanooga now, was our club coach. And they brought me in to kind of just be whatever they needed me to do. I was the young guy, so I was washing clothes, I was mopping mats, I was wrestling with the kids, whatever they needed me to do. I did it because people don't really understand because we're in Tennessee, but the community that we live in, man, the Cleveland and Bradley Central rivalry, it's I would put it up next to some of the biggest rivalries in the country. At our dual meet, we average about 3,500 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like football Friday nights.
It's unreal. The fans are knowledgeable, they're passionate, they're crazy. I mean, it's wild. So I knew that, from an early age, I wanted to coach. I wanted to be a state champion, but pretty much after that, I didn't have a whole lot of ambition to be an NCAA champ and all that stuff. That a lot of people say they want to do that. I could care less. I wanted to go wrestle in college because I loved wrestling, but I knew I wanted to be a coach. And when I had the opportunity to move to Cleveland, like I literally packed my stuff up in 2 days, and I lived in our wrestling facility for about 6 months until, I got on my feet and got a job and all that stuff. But it was it was pretty wild.
Man, that's awesome. So you moved out there and you had the opportunity to take over higher calling.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I first moved here in 2007, summer of 2007, so I'm going on 13 years. I was just the assistant at the high school because I could wrestle with the kids with Eslinger, but I hadn't graduated college yet. So Heath, being the great dude he is, he told me to get my crap together and I need to graduate. So I think after about a year and a half, I got enrolled in a local university in Cleveland, and because of the hours I was taking, I couldn't work with the high school. So they're like, you just need to take over the kids club. It'll be better, you just until you graduate. And I think I did that in 2010, and I haven't turned back since. I mean, it's just working with that. I enjoyed that a lot more. Getting to see them from age 5 all the way through the time they graduate. It was a lot more enjoyable to me. I tell everybody they're stupid enough to trust me, so that's why I want to work with them. But I've been doing that ever since, and it's been a blast. It's been a blast.
It's got to be cool. And I mean, you're there long enough now where you probably have kids since they were 5, 6 years old, and now coming back and coaching.
Yeah. Well, we're not quite there yet because a lot of our kids they're just now in their I think one of my oldest kids, the first kid that I had, I think he's a redshirt senior. So he's got another year, and then he'll go do what he wants to do, and then he'll get back. But it's starting to come full circle. That's for sure.
Yeah. How cool is that? That has to be neat.
Yeah, definitely.
So what kind of, talk about what you guys are doing at Higher Calling. And I know that you kind of have 2 businesses there. You have your Higher Calling where you're getting the young kids ready to get into high school and wrestle at Cleveland High School there locally. And then you have your Bosken Train where you're doing wrestling camps and kind of whatever it is you're doing there, right?
Yeah. So Higher Calling is basically it's our feeder program for the high school. Our head coach Joey Knox, he wrestled for UT Chattanooga. He's from Georgia, one of the best high school coaches around. He's a great dude. He's fully involved from the time that they're little into the time they're big. We take pride in, we have a hashtag Made in Cleveland. We take pride in all of our kids that come through our program are homegrown. And Coach Knox, our high school coach, is a part of that from day one. So basically, I would say October through May is our Higher Calling season, and all of our focus is on those kids, on the kids that are going to go to Cleveland. All of our focus is on them. All the practices are focused on them. So once the summer comes around, we turn our focus to our camps, and that's when our focus ultimately is still on our kids, because we're bringing kids in, even though it's our camps. We're bringing guys in from all over the country to train with our guys. So we like last week or 2 weeks ago, we had a high school camp. We had 3 kids from Blair Academy. Gabe Arnold from Wyoming Seminary, TJ Stewart from Blair Academy, Danny Wask from Blair Academy. Just from all over the country. We had a kid from Texas, and we have kids from all over to train with our kids. And I think one thing that separates our camps from others, and I'm not really big into the camp scene, so I can't really say other people don't do this, but all of our camps are specifically for like this coming week. On Friday, we start our next camp, and it's only for youth wrestlers, targeted like 4th grade through 8th grade, all similar weight. So the goal is to get 20, 25 kids in the room, all within 15, 20 pounds. So they have multiple partners. I think a lot of camps that I've gone to, and some of our kids even go to, it's just a camp, and they might have 2 or 3 solid partners, and more than technique in coaching, we want our kids to have some of the best training partners around. So each week's just different. Last week we had our big guy camp, so it was all high school kids, 180 to 220, and we designed that camp because we have a kid on our team. He's a 220, a Fargo All-American. But finding a big guy that trains, year round, it's hard to find. So we pulled kids in. We got a couple kids from North Carolina, a couple kids from Georgia, a couple kids from Tennessee. We brought in 20 guys, heavyweights, that wanted to train and get our guys, multiple partners. So
yeah, usually least I know at my son's school, usually the big guys wrestling with the coach.
Coach, and you know what? I'm telling you right now, we can wrestle with him. Coach knocks him out, but it's not fun. And they're 230 pounds, and he's good. He's a good wrestler. So it's like we can get in there and hand fight with him, but it's just it's not really beneficial for him either because it's not giving him the right feel.
And you're getting thrown around.
I'm getting my head beat in, my spine's hurting the next day. So yeah, we're bringing these guys in to save our health, but also to give them the right feel.
And on the camp side with your Bosken camps that you're talking about, how can people get involved with them with you? How can they get a hold of you? How can they?
So we have our website, boskentrain.com. We have all of our camps on there through the end of September. We haven't put our October dates up yet because we're waiting to see what's going on with Super 32, so we can do training camp for Super 32. But the website, boskentrain.com, pretty much all avenues of social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just Bosken Trained. We update our camps frequently. We communicate with our audience frequently. Yeah, I mean, if you go to any of those social media outlets, you're going to find something.
Nice. So younger you got to go off to UTC and wrestle for some guy named Terry Brands.
Yeah.
Man, how awesome was that?
It was awesome. I mean, I tell everybody, I was only there for 2.5 years. I learned more in that 2.5 years from him than I probably learned the rest of the last, 15 years. He kind of gets a reputation of, this Iowa style of wrestling where, he teaches one way and it's not even like that at all. Like he's got his philosophy on how to wrestle, but he also teaches to the wrestler. He wants his guys to win. He wants them to score points, but like if he's got a long, lanky guy, he's going to adapt to their build and not make them, fit this mold. And I think that's not the reputation the Brands brothers get. But their philosophy is score points. And if you're scoring points, he's happy with you. But he's good. If you're doing the right things, he loves you. And that's just the way it is. But when they say they train different, they train different.
And has he stayed a part of your life?
Not personally with me, because I wasn't there the full 5 years. I ended up leaving after halfway through going into my junior year. I ended up going back home, but it doesn't change the way I think about him because I know how he treats his athletes and the guys that I do keep in contact. Majority of my best friends are from college. I was telling Javier Maldonado, Cody Cleveland, a lot of those guys that Jake Yost, Joey Knox, all those guys that wrestle with, they keep in contact with them frequently. Matt Pitts, Keith Brothers. I mean, these were the guys that I looked up to in college. And not only did I learn from Brands, but I learned from all these guys that were my peers and a little bit older than me who had a lot of success. And I stole all kinds of stuff from them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That works out well.
Yeah.
Well, I was reading kind of some of your teaching methods, and I guess you can elaborate on them. You have kind of a method. You start core skills. When you get to a point where they're at the core skills, then you move them into repetition, and then you move to memorization. Talk about that process and why that works and that's important to you.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is I want them to understand. I want everybody that comes to our camp to be successful, and that's why we have overnight camps. Because if they're not getting it, we're not going to sleep. I mean, that's just the way it is. If a kid's not getting it and practice is over with, he has nowhere to go. He's with me for 3 days. So we work on it till it's mastered, or at least till he's comfortable. When he leaves camp, he's comfortable going back home and executing it in practice. But in my philosophies, the majority of it comes from Coach Brand's philosophy, and it's just you got to do the right things. There's the right way to do things and there's the wrong way to do things positionally before you start getting into all this crazy wrestling. Scrambling, which is all this stuff is really, really good, But if you don't know how to if you don't have basic defense and basic leg attacks and basic finishes, you don't, in our mind is you don't need to move on to that stuff until you have a strong understanding of your fundamentals. And once you understand the fundamentals, then we can move past that and start executing other skills. But so we make sure that's why we separate all of our camps into age and skill set ability. So we're not teaching down or teaching up. We're teaching to the group that, you know, if they're a younger group, then we're working on our fundamentals and we're going to drill. And I let them know it might not be a lot of fun, but you're going to get better at wrestling. And then with our older group, I'm with the group that we came in from Blair. I learned from them. We just got in positions and I said, hey, what would you guys do from here? You know, here's what I think. I picked their brains. I mean, these kids are freaking good. I mean, at an early age. So I'm not too prideful to ask questions from kids and ask them what they do in these positions, because they have a lot of success right now. So just depending on the group we have in, it really determines how that camp's going to be structured. Obviously the younger kids, it's more on me. And we just drill our fundamentals, drill our basics. The older they get, we kind of have a little more freedom. I kind of put them in positions and we just play with it.
Yeah, it's it's awesome to hear coaches say that they learn. Like I had a kid on yesterday who wrestles at South Dade, which you know, legendary program in Florida.
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah, so he said that there was a guy in the room doing some sort of like half tilt or something, and Coach B was like, "The hell are you doing? Show it to me." And he said for the next week in practice, he was telling his kids, "We're drilling that. We're drilling that.
Yeah.
We're drilling that." And so he just learned that move from that kid and was like, "All right, we're gonna put it into effect."
Yeah.
And the kid was like, "Man, now I use it. It works."
Yeah, I know. I think you, if you truly want your kids to be successful, and if you truly want to be successful as a coach, you have to be open-minded and not think you know everything. And wrestling's evolving, and it's never ending. The learning's never ending for sure.
So have you learned how to do like that backflip, cartwheel, round the thing?
We actually it's fun. What we're doing right now with the group, our club group, our higher calling, we practice through the week, and then our camps are on the weekend. So right now the position we're playing with is getting in the worst possible position on a single leg. So a guy's got our leg up in the air. What do we do? You know, I kind of guide him through the situation depending on where the leg's at on the body. But at the end of the day, when he's got our leg up in the air, we're limited on what we can do. So they play around with it. Some of them are flipping, some of them are dive rolling, some of them. So they get creative and they learn what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. That one hurt. I'm not trying.
I'm not going to do that one. I'm not as flexible as that guy.
That's awesome. So what is your wrestling career? Is there a match that you look back at and be like, man, I wish I had that back? Is there anything that maybe you would have done differently, or everything's cool?
Everything's cool with me, man.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a great high school career. I'm not even talking about accolades. That to me, I wrestled because I had a blast. I mean, I loved it. I loved that I was looked at differently from everybody else. You know, because where I come from, wrestling's not like a mainstream. It's not basketball. It's not football. I didn't go to the dances. I didn't hang out with friends. I trained, and that's what I looked at the successful people, and that's what they did. So I did it, and I got looked at a little bit different, and I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that's my high school career. Then my college career, I didn't have a lot of success because I didn't make all the right decisions, but I met some of the coolest people, some of my best friends that I've ever met, and I learned a whole lot, and it made me a better coach. That's for sure.
What has wrestling meant to your life and your career, and where would you be without it?
It taught me to persevere through some difficult times, and I've been through them. Some times where my family, I got married with 4 kids, my family's counted on me, and wrestling's taught me to not feel sorry for myself and suck it up and find a way, and that's what I've learned from it.
And you're doing it.
I'm doing it.
Yep. And man, Tennessee is beautiful, right? You love it there?
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. You need to come up sometime. And
For sure.
yeah, go down there, Coe River, go rafting.
I'd love to. We went to, we stayed up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, 1 year. And then since it's right on the border there, we drove into Tennessee.
Yeah.
And we got, I don't know, what did we do that year? Did we go fishing?
Probably.
Probably some of that stuff, right? I'm trying
Probably
to
some of that stuff.
But we had a blast, man. It was cool. What a beautiful place. I know a lot of people that have gone up there to get their little cabin, you know, that retirement cabin. They want to come.
Nothing better. Nothing better, man. It's beautiful.
Man, it's so cool. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's shoot it.
Chattanooga or Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Armbar or Whizzer?
Armbar.
Mission Barbecue or Shane's Ribs?
I'd have to go with Shane's because I don't know what the other one is.
Me neither. I just saw it was in your town. Let's see. What did I find? Oh, a reshot drill or a split step drill?
Reshot.
Quick burger or fresh burger?
Fresh.
Snap and post or single to sweep?
Snap and post.
Lupus or Gabrielle's Pizza?
Loopies.
Oh, I said lupus.
Loopies.
Like a disease.
Yeah.
All right. High C or power leg?
High crotch.
Delia's or Burrito Express?
Burrito Express.
Can't read my own damn.
That's fine. It probably wouldn't have mattered.
Stand up drill or sit out drill?
Stand up. Get your feet.
Nice. Hey, so this has been awesome, man. So cool to have you on and do this with you. What before we get going, here in a few minutes, what is something that you make sure your young kids know that are transitioning levels, as far as maybe they're in high school right now, they're getting ready to go up to college, something that you say, hey, be prepared for this, be ready for this.
Stay focused. Understand that there's going to be outside factors that are going to try to pull you away from what you love. You have to understand what the end goal is, and keep your eyes on it and stay focused and be willing to be different.
And I forgot what I was going to say. I think it's late in the day, and I'm hungry.
You're on interview 4. You're allowed to have some brain farts.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well,
Yeah.
man, hey, this has been great. I hope that I can get up to Tennessee and experience Bosken trained and hire Colin.
Send the kid up, man.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. As soon as we can play again.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. Come on anytime, man. Anytime.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Later.